Merhaba. Get ready to take a big step in your Turkish learning adventure today. Because today we will learn the past tense in Turkish. I mean, one of the past tense. There are a number of past tenses in Turkish, and we're going to learn the simple past tense today. It is the definite past, and we use it for things that happened in the past, but by the time we talk about it, the action is finished. So that's something to keep in mind, and you'll get a better understanding of it when we talk about what it means when you say certain things in this tense. For instance, with this time frame, we are talking about things that we experienced. The speaker experienced it. It's not reported. It's not somebody told us. We have a specific tense for that, a different tense for that, and we'll talk about that later. This one is translated into English as either simple past or present perfect tense, and we'll discuss that in a bit. So it is called geçmiş zaman, past tense in general. We already know geçmiş. We already know zaman. It means time, right? And geçmiş means past. Geçmiş zaman, past tense. This one is dili geçmiş zaman, which means we are going to use the d suffix to make past tense in Turkish. And the ı type suffix, it's going to be either d, di, du, du, right? Okay. So I mean, it's expected as following the vowel harmony. All right. Dili geçmiş zaman can be attached to verbs or predicates, which means when you say bugün hastayım, there is a way of saying that sentence in the past, hastaydım. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're just going to focus on the verbs. And so we're going to talk about the verbal sentences. Okay? So when we talk about verbs, first things to do, as you may remember from present continuous tense, you remove the infinitive mark, mekmak. And then what you have then, once you remove the infinitive mark, the stem. For instance, okumak, to read. And when you remove mak, what remains is the verb stem, which means oku, right? And then, so we need to get to that point. So, there we attach the, here right now, the past tense suffix d. So let's, talk about it with an example. And I picked the verb aramak. It means to call someone or to look for something. So aramak, first remove mak, and ara is the verb stem, and attach d to it. Aradı. So this is the one for third persons. And we're going to talk about the third persons first, because third person doesn't have personal suffix. So aradı means he or she or it called. If it's negative, first of all, we have the negative mark, mema, so aramamak in this case, and then attach the simple past suffix, aramadı, he didn't call. Okay? So let's make a couple more with different vowels. For instance, gülmek, to laugh. Güldü, she laughed. Gülmedi, she didn't laugh. Okumak, to read. Okudu, he read. Okumadı, he didn't read. Now, there's one rule about the past tense that we need to know. If the verb stem ends with a consonant that comes from the hard consonant group that we talked about before, and these are ç, f, h, k, p, s, ş, t. And remember, we have a phrase to remember this, fıstıkçı şahap, right? So fıstıkçı şahap, if you remove the vowels, you'll see these consonants. It's an easy way to remember these consonants. So if the verb stem ends with one of these, the de of the suffix becomes te. Okay, so, and again, you're familiar with this, with the case endings. We talked about this. Let's speak about yapmak, to do. So in past tense, you say yaptı, he did. Yapmadı, she didn't. İçmek, to drink. İçti, he drank. İçmedi, he didn't drink. All right, other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So let's practice aramak with other personal suffixes. So you can repeat after me right now. Aradım, aradın, aradı, aradık, aradınız, aradılar. And let's practice the negative. Aramadım, aramadın, aramadı, aramadık, aramadınız, aramadılar. So we do this because I want you to pay attention the stresses that some syllables are more stressed when I say them. Aramadı. Try to imitate the way I say it, because it's going to make more clear when you say it. Okay. So let's talk about the difference between simple past and present perfect in Turkish, which doesn't appear in Turkish, but there is a difference in English. So when you say, I haven't done my homework, which means in Turkish, ödevimi yapmadım. So in Turkish, it's expressed in the past tense with dili geçmiş zaman. And the reason why you say it in the present perfect in English, because the action is still continuous. I mean, it's still true that you haven't done your homework, right? So, but it doesn't matter in Turkish, so it's used in the past tense. A better example actually is, have you ever been to Turkey? So this is the one, very clear in English why it's said, but it's why it's in present perfect tense. And in Turkish there is a way of saying the same way, but you need to add one word to your sentence, and that is hiç. Hiç means nothing, and there are variations of hiç, and we'll talk about that later, but right now just learn hiç. And for these kind of sentences, for instance, if you want to translate, have you ever been to Turkey, you will say, hiç Türkiye'ye gittin mi? Hiç Türkiye'ye gittin mi? So in that case, hiç means ever. Have you ever been to Turkey? But it is actually a negative noun, and it is used in either question or negative sentences. So double negative happens in Turkish. Keep that in mind right now. That's all you need to know about hiç. I mean, because we're going to talk about these type of sentences, hiç, and have you ever done this or that? That's why you need to know hiç right now. Another very common exercise we're going to do with past tense is Neopten. Neopten means what did you do? But the common way of saying it is Neopten. Neopten. Okay, so practice that, and of course with the new time frames, new tense, you're going to have a whole new list of vocabulary, especially adverbs, and you're going to see them in your vocabulary list this week. For instance, dün means yesterday. Geçen is a very versatile verb word for, and comes before hafta, ay, and yıl means last month, last week. So we're going to use those. So you would say dün ne yaptın? What did you do yesterday? Geçen hafta ne yaptın? What did you do last week? Okay? So you're going to learn the adverbs appropriate for this task. Okay? One important note, your vocabulary list is going to also include some verbs, and it's going to appear in a specific category. And these are, we may call them psychological states. For instance, to be angry, to be hungry. These states are expressed in past tense in Turkish. Let me give you an example. For instance, acıkmak means to be hungry. So in English you say I'm hungry. In Turkish you say acıktım. So you say it in past tense. Another one, üzülmek, to be sad. You say üzüldüm in Turkish. Anlamak, to understand. You say anladım. For the present states, you say anladım. Present situations, you say anladım. Kızmak, to be angry. Kızdım, I'm angry. Okay? So, there's a list of, of some of these verbs, and try to pay attention how they're used in sentences. And it's, yes, they're going to be used in past tense. Okay? All right, that's all about it today. You know what you need to do, and practice, and come to class prepared, and we'll do more practice. Okay? Kolay gelsin.